Good morning and welcome to our webinar titled Pellet Mill Magazine's 2022 Editorial Preview. My name is John Nelson. I'm the Vice President of Operations, Marketing, and Sales at Pellet Mill Magazine and BBI International. I'm joined today with our editor of Pellet Mill Magazine and Biomass Magazine, Anna Simmet. And today's sponsor is the International Biomass Conference and Expo taking place in Jacksonville in March. We're going to cover a few things here, but before we get started, I do want to chat a little bit about a couple of housekeeping items. If you do have questions, please type those questions in. We'll try to answer those, follow up afterwards, and get any questions you have answered. Also, this is recorded, so if you do want to review something, we should have this webinar posted roughly 48 hours from now. So you can go back and review items on it and hear what we have to say. You can also download the media kits at biomassmagazine.com as well. So what we're going to cover here is look at who we reach with Pellet Mill Magazine, some of the advertising opportunities that we have, some of the facts behind print, and then Anna's going to go into the editorial highlights, talk about what are the hot topics that are happening within the industry that we are going to be covering in 2022. And then she's got a little bit of a discount and talk about some events coming up at the end. So with that, we'll jump right into it. So one of the things I like to talk about first is, who is Pellet Mill Magazine? And really, we like to, we look at throughout the years, Pellet Mill Magazine really has become the number one source for wood pellet industry news, trends, and stats. And, through our print publication and website, Anna and her editorial team deliver on a daily basis some of the top news, within the industry, and really they talk about a lot of the trends, what's hot, what's happening, and it's all designed and geared towards the audience of producers within the industry. So if you're a producer of pellets, or you're a vendor looking to reach those producers, this is the number one place where you want to be hanging out, getting your news, your content, or advertising. And that's really what we're going to talk about here. So when we look at our advertising opportunities, and I'll run through this a little bit, first and foremost, we have our Pellet Mill Magazine, and it's printed 4 times. And Anna's going to go through those themes, and she's going to talk about the bonus distribution. And that's really what makes up the circulation. So in addition to all producers on our map, within the pellet mill industry, all the production facilities receive a copy of each issue. But then we also have our circulation and subscribers. Now, we also have some digital subscribers built into this. I was just chatting with one of our sales associates the other day, and we were talking about the digital subscribers and making sure we were representing those. And really, when we say 5,000 plus, we know 5,000 magazines are being printed, but we also have nearly 1,000 digital subscribers on top of that. So, when you look throughout the year, this really gets sent out to quite a few people within the industry, a lot of the decision makers, obviously all the production facilities. So it's an outstanding place if you're looking to advertise and you want to get in front of the industry and decision makers within the industry. We also have the Pellet Mill map, and we print 7,000 plus of those, and those go to, obviously our full subscription, our full circulation. They're mailed out and go to all the production facilities. They're really, it's a great place to advertise from a standpoint of when you put an ad on it, a lot of people put it up in their office, and your advertisement is up there year round. So if you're looking for the longevity game and you want your ad, in the offices of these production facilities, in these pellet mills, this is a great opportunity for you. And that's printed 1 time, and that is also distributed at our International Biomass Conference and Expo and other events as well. So we'll kind of talk a little bit about the circulation and the bonus distribution when we get into the themes. So those are some of the print options you have within Pellet Mill Magazine. Now, some of you might be wondering, why does it say Biomass Magazine everywhere? And I just want to address that a little bit. Is we really started out as the Pellet Mill Magazine really started out as an offshoot of Biomass Magazine, but due to its popularity, it really has started to increase in the number of issues that we do. And so really they're almost equal publications from that standpoint. So it really talks about the strength of the industry, where the industry is going, and a lot of the great coverage that Anna and her team do. So online. So again, it's on biomassmagazine.com. So it shares a website with biomassmagazine.com. And the nice thing about that is you get the impressions of what's happening with biomassmagazine.com. So it's almost two magazines for the price of one, and the impressions and the page views really demonstrate that. So we have 925,000 page views per year on Biomass Magazine. And then we also have our newsletter that goes out twice a month. So 24 issues of Pellet Mill Press e-newsletter are sent out to 32,000 subscribers. So again, these are digital options. You can place advertising. We have advertising options on biomassmagazine.com and within the e-newsletter. It's a great way to track and monitor, your impressions of your ad, your clicks, etc. So if you're looking for those digital options, we have them for a very, very niche audience. We also have some custom items here. What we're talking about here is we have our digital press package. And so within our, what we're able to do with some of our digital press package is we can package things with our press releases. We can also add a medium rectangle. We can customize things and really make sure that you're getting your brand out quickly. So with the digital press package, what's nice is you're getting multiple things. You're getting our news list. So the 69,000 subscribers, you're getting your press release sent out. We also send it over the Associated Press wire, the AP wire. So, and then we'll give you a report on that to all the energy sites. And then we'll have we'll also be sending out an email in our newsletter. So it's a really great way for you to ramp up your brand, or if you have something very timely that needs to go out and you need results quickly and you need to track those, it's a great option for you to get to our audience, get in those email packages, and also send things over the wire. So, and we can report on everything. So you can really track your ROI with our digital press packages. And that was something new or relatively new that we've added as one of our offerings. We also have a spotlight feature, and that goes to our readers, and Anna and her team will feature if you're looking to have some content within the magazine and send out digitally. Anna and her team will write a featured article, a spotlight feature, and we have some parameters on what that entails within our media kit, and you can find that again on biomassmagazine.com and take a look at exactly what that spotlight feature is. But in essence, Anna and her team will write a featured article on you, and you will get an advertisement within the print issue of Pellet Mill Magazine, which is also sent out via email to our subscribers in our list. So a nice option for you if you're looking to say, hey, I really want to be featured. I really want to ramp up my credibility within the industry and my awareness within the industry. You can say, hey, I was featured in Pellet Mill Magazine. So this is a great option to look at for you as well. We also have a custom press release. So that's part of the digital press package, but cut out. So as I just chatted about, you can have something sent out to our 69,000 subscribers in a press release if it's newsworthy. And then we have custom reprints. So let's say you are featured within Pellet Mill Magazine. Let's say whether Anna and her team have said, hey, and the editorial board said, hey, this is who we want in the magazine, or if you are doing a spotlight feature, this is a great option for you to say, I want to do a custom reprint. I want to have this printed, and I want to have it as a leave behind. I want to give it out to at conferences or when I'm on sales calls, and really demonstrate, again, your credibility because you were featured inside Pellet Mill Magazine. And I know a lot of our advertisers like this when they have been featured within the publication. It's great to have a bunch of those physical copies on there, or in your arsenal when you're out making sales and marketing calls. So some of the events and webinars that we have, obviously we have Biomass Magazine's webinar series, which is part of what we're doing today. So just like today, you can do a custom webinar. You can promote it to our audience. And, so we'll be sending out emails. We'll have ads in our newsletter. We'll have ads online promoting your webinar. You can talk about your topic. Anna will be helping out with those, or myself, and we'll be making sure that those are running smoothly. We typically see about 150 to 200 people registered for those events, and they're very dialed in. So if you're looking to gain some leads and you're looking to build your brand awareness at the same time, it's an outstanding option. So you'll be able to see who was on that webinar, who registered for that webinar, and you can follow up with those leads as well. So it's a great way to generate leads quickly and very targeted, in a very targeted process. And then we also have the International Biomass Conference and Expo. We see 200 plus producers at that event. It's the largest gathering of pellet mill producers. I know I've chatted with some of my associates, and we know for a fact, when we're looking at all the industry events, specifically, especially in North America, we can say this with confidence. This is the number one place where you will find the most pellet mill producers within the U.S. Under one roof. So we are still plan to have this event happening in March in Jacksonville, Florida. We're excited to be back. I know right now things are ramping up really well for it. There's a lot of excitement around it. We see 850 attendees. And, again, 200 plus producers attending that event. We hope you can join us for that event. It'll be a nice, I guess what I'm trying to say is we're happy to be back in person, and we want to have the show in person. So we're really monitoring it, but as of right now, we're full steam ahead with that event, and we hope you can join us. We also have the Biodiesel and Renewable Diesel Summit, and that's co-located with the International Fuel Ethanol Workshop, and that's taking place in Minneapolis in June as well. So and then you look at some of these other options that we have within BBI International. So some of the sister publications, obviously Biomass Magazine is a big one, and that's printed 4 times. We also have Ethanol Producer Magazine, Biodiesel Magazine, and then we also have the Carbon Capture and Storage Summit coming up. And as I mentioned before, the International Fuel Ethanol Workshop. One thing I did want to talk about on this slide is when you look at our circulation of our print and going back to our print publication for Pellet Mill Magazine, look at our top industry. Who's reading us? Who's online? When you look at our top 5 industry, the largest percentage is producers, then it goes into consulting, it goes in, and then equipment and so on. So again, we're writing, Anna and her team are writing and gearing their content for pellet mill producers, and that's who we see our top section is of readers. So a couple facts. We have this up here about print advertising. So the question we get sometimes, just really putting a little emphasis on print itself, is the question we get is, hey, is print still relevant? Is it still working? And the answer is yes. Sometimes in the newspaper world, it may not be going quite as well with their audience, but we're a niche audience. We're an industry publication, and we know that people, based on our surveys, third-party surveys, and information like you see here from these surveys, that people really like magazines. So if I look at that graph on the bottom, and people really find when they see an advertisement inside a print publication, they find that experience to be positive, and the most positive out of all these other mediums. Again, because it's a very, intimate way to to take in your content. You're sitting with yourself, you're holding the magazine, and you're very engaged in what's happening, versus, TV, radio. There's other things going on around you. So it's a very intimate way. So what we also see is 52% recall a product or service after seeing an advertisement within the publication, and 62% of those readers act after seeing that print ad. So those are some positive things. When you're thinking about, should I be doing print? Should I be doing digital? What should I be doing? I would advise doing a mix of those. If you're really looking at building your brand, when you look at customers that are building their brand and are recognized within the industry, they are doing both, and they're being consistent. One other thing I do want to note at the top left corner here is you're looking at larger ads and premium positions create stronger awareness. Yes, those do cost more, but there's a reason for that. They do create stronger awareness. That is in all mediums, in almost every case. A larger ad, whether it's digital, whether it's print, the larger ad is always going to create more awareness, and we see that time and time again when we do our third-party research. So the one thing I want to leave you with is, again, if you're looking to get to pellet mill producers, get your brand built, get your product or service in front of them, make sure they know you're there. This is the place to be, and it has been for years. And I can't say enough about Anna and her team and the content that they produce that keep bringing that audience back. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Anna and let her talk about the themes and chat a little bit about the bonus distribution. Anna.
All right. Thanks, John. Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us today. As John said, I'm Anna Simmet, editor of Pellet Mill Magazine. A little about me. I've been writing for this industry now for over 13 years. I'm also the editor of Biomass Magazine and recently became editor of Biodiesel Magazine as well. As far as what we cover in Pellet Mill Magazine, all things relevant to fuel and heating pellet production, and this is from harvesting fiber to the end use, whether that be in boilers or stoves or power plants. And we write primarily for pellet manufacturers, both domestic or exporters. Domestic meaning those who produce pellets primarily for the residential heating market, and then exporters who make industrial wood pellets that are used primarily in commercial power or heat production. These two markets are quite different, but of course they do have many commonalities at the same time. So to start, I'm just going to talk a little bit about Pellet Mill Magazine and how the magazine is put together. So in the front of the issue, we feature business briefs. These are news items, usually short pieces announcing things such as new company hires, promotions, retirements, might be new equipment on the market, partnerships, new projects, or important company milestones. We decide what to include on a case-by-case basis. We welcome any news like this or PR to be submitted at any time, and you can just send those directly to me. Moving on, we have columns. These are pieces written by our association heads or industry experts, typically. We have regular columnists. A couple of those include Tim Ports from the Pellet Fuels Institute or Chris Weiberg from Timber Products Inspection Biomass Energy Lab. We do frequently feature guest columnists. So again, if you're interested, reach out to me. Contribution articles, these are typically written by subject matter experts. They usually align with one of our quarterly themes, but they don't have to. Typically, they're around 1,200 words. We include an image or two. I accept abstracts for contribution articles anytime. Basically, these are just very brief descriptions of the article purpose, content, and intended audience. So if you have a particular issue that you're interested in submitting a contribution to, I recommend reaching out to me about 2 months prior to insertion date listed on our editorial calendar, which we will review shortly. You can also find it on biomassmagazine.com. Just an example of a regular contributor to a Pellet Mill Magazine is Forest Wood Fiber Review. Feature articles. These are a little longer and they're more in-depth than contribution articles. These are written by our staff. They're usually based on interviews with industry persons relevant to whatever topic's being explored. These are longer in length, usually about 6 pages, give or take. And then finally, spotlight articles, which John did discuss previously. These are articles focused solely on a specific company or the product or service it offers. It could be a profile, or it could narrow in on something very specific. Whatever the company chooses, that's the direction we'll go in. And these can be written by our staff, myself, or they can also be written by the company themselves. So now that we've taken sort of that high-level view of the magazine and content pieces, so we'll just move on to covering the editorial calendar for 2022. It is important to note that while we do have themes that influence content, this definitely doesn't limit coverage. We include stuff that doesn't align with the theme all the time. Issue 1, material handling and storage, product analysis, testing, and quality control, with a bonus focus of moisture measurement and moisture control. So, material handling might encompass anything from preparation from shipping to drying to conveying, all those logistics. This print issue will be sent to the National Biodiesel Conference, the International Biomass and Expo, ACOR's Renewable Energy Policy Forum, and SOAR 2022. Issue 2, fire and explosion protection, dust control, personnel safety training, and emergency response. This is definitely one of our most popular issues for good reason. Spotlights are particularly popular in this issue, obviously, as incident prevention is a critical priority in this industry, working with combustible wood dust. An example of a spotlight article we ran last year was common oversights in fire and explosion protection systems, and this was written by the company themselves. It was a really great piece. This issue will be distributed at the International Biomass Conference and Expo, and Argus Biomass, the International Ethanol Workshop and Expo, the PFI Annual Conference, the ASAB Annual Meeting, and the Waste. Moving on to issue 3, operations and maintenance, automation technology, plant optimization, and operational efficiency. It has a bonus focus of lubricants and greases. Speaking of that, we actually just ran a couple articles on grease. One of them was about how to choose the right grease for your operation. Really great piece. Bonus distributions include the Asia Pacific Biomass Energy Exhibition, the Wood Pellet Association of Canada Conference, and the International Biomass Congress and Expo. And finally, moving on to issue 4, the theme is pellet mill technologies, project development, engineering, and construction. So if you're an EPC contractor or system or major component supplier, this is definitely an issue that you want to be in. We have a bonus focus here of bagging and packaging. Bonus distributions include the USIPA Exporting Pellets Conference, European Bioenergy Future, WasteCon, and PowerGen International. So that wraps up our editorial calendar. Again, you can access this at biomassmagazine.com. Click on the advertising tab at the bottom, and that will take you to them. Please reach out to me anytime with questions, story ideas, feedback, contribution ideas, guest columns, business brief proposals. Just want to say we really appreciate your support because we definitely couldn't do what we do without you. You can find my contact information at biomassmagazine.com, again, in the media kit. And with that, a very special thanks to the International Biomass Conference and Expo, which will be held in Jacksonville, Florida, March 14th through 16th. You can learn more about that event at biomassconference.com. Be sure to check out our upcoming events and take advantage of a 20% savings on a full-page print advertisement just for attending this webinar. Thanks so much for joining us today, and hopefully we'll be seeing you soon. Thanks so much.